look, this has been a wild 24, 48 hours inside and out. But it feels like the messaging here has been one of chaos within the Biden campaign, chaos within the Kamala Harris campaign. How does the Democratic Party show, one, that they're united behind Kamala Harris, and two, that this is not a last-minute decision and one that actually is thought out?
Well, Kriti, it isn't a last-minute decision. I know I had said after I saw him at the NATO press conference now 2 Thursdays ago, I believed he would drop out. He was indicating that he knew, while he believed he was the best to govern, he didn't know that he was the best to win, and he was looking for the advice and counsel of people who could tell him what to do. There were even some rumors that he may drop out on Sunday. Those rumors obviously became true with that tweet yesterday, which, of course, took a lot of people by surprise because the campaign had been fiercely defending his ability to stay in this race. What we're seeing now is that they're trying to put together the process as quickly as they can with the DNC to have a process for Kamala Harris and potentially others to compete. And while it may look messy right now, we still have more than 100 days of this campaign. We will have a solid nominee, one who can appeal broadly, whereas Donald Trump has just spent the last week showing us that he is very conservative, populist. It's kind of all over the map on where he is on foreign policy. We'll have a great Democratic nominee to stand up against Donald Trump and hopefully, keep America moving in the right direction.
Well, Johanna, talk to us then about what comes next here. We, of course, know that the clock is ticking when it comes to that virtual roll call. Reports saying it's going to be the first week of August. All eyes internationally seem to be on who that VP pick is going to be. You read the strategist notes, and it looks like the focus is going to be more on North Carolina, Georgia, potentially Roy Cooper in that VP seat. What's the right move here for the Kamala Harris campaign?
Well, I see two fantastic contenders if she is the nominee. And I'm not going to rush to any judgment. There could be other people who would throw their hats in. Joe Manchin supposedly was flirting with it. I'm not interested in Joe Manchin. Wes Moore, if he did, I would be interested. But if it is Kamala Harris, there are two VP candidates who I think would be very solid for her, both Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona and Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro. And the reason why is twofold. Both of them, actually, Mark Kelly has a military background. Obviously, he was an astronaut. He's married to Gabby Giffords, who was a victim of an assassination attempt herself. He's been a very strong senator. He won very overwhelmingly in Arizona, which is a key state. Josh Shapiro is the Pennsylvania governor. Pennsylvania is a critical state for Democrats, but also Shapiro presents a fantastic inclusive message for what the future of our economy can be for places like Pennsylvania that competes directly with what J.D. Vance, of course, the vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump, is going for. Those kinds of workers who feel like they've been left behind, that J.D. Vance is saying, well, we're just going to have, churches solve all the problems. And Josh Shapiro is going to say, that's not actually going to solve our problems, and here's what would.
So, Johanna, and of course, with the context and the caveat that we don't know yet if Harris will be the official nominee, it's certainly looking like that. It's certainly pointing in that direction. In terms of the domestic policy agenda, then, and you talk about the economic priorities of this Democratic Party, would you expect Harris, if she gets that nomination, to lead a continuation of Bidenomics, of Biden's economic policies, or do you see adjustments and changes?
Well, look, everybody does have adjustments and changes. No leader is exactly the same as the others, but she actually is someone who's cared a lot about American jobs. California, if taken out of the United States, it would be the fifth largest economy in the world. So we have a robust economy in our state. She's been, come up through California politics, but she's not some crazy California progressive. She's always presented a more moderate front. And so I expect you would see that continuation with kind of a new take on things. I mean, she's a tech-friendly generation, but, holds them accountable. In her job as Attorney General, she worked to hold people accountable. So I think you're going to see that balance in a very different way than you would see from Donald Trump. I mean, his policies are very thin. He says he wants the largest mass deportation of undocumented immigrants in the United States in our history. That's all fine and good on paper, but when Americans actually see their children's friends, parents ripped out of our communities, it would look a lot different. So I think she's going to make that stark contrast. We can be both inclusive and have tough policies so that people do have to come to the United States legally, that they do need to be, a law and order citizens, unlike Donald Trump.
Johanna, one clear dividing line between Biden and Harris is foreign policy. And, of course, Biden has deep and decades-long experience when it comes to foreign affairs, and he knows many of the key players personally and has known them over decades. This is clearly an area where Kamala Harris is facing a huge catch-up. To what extent is that a vulnerability, do you think?
Well, I would say it's not as big of a gap as you say. Of course, Biden has 50 years on about everybody. Trump had no foreign policy experience. I mean, he'd had Miss America overseas and Trump hotels. So when it comes to Kamala Harris, she actually did deal with issues like California's a border state when she was Attorney General. So I would counter the narrative that she has thin experience in that area. And I would say that actually one of the things that Americans have not seen, she has spent a lot of her time traveling abroad. And those have not been super public engagements. They've been rather under the radar, designed so that she would be able to do the work for the president and not necessarily have big press conferences or big events abroad. So I would counter that narrative, and I would say undoubtedly she'll have a fantastic foreign policy team.
And Johanna, I hate to have to ask you this, but you played a critical role in Obama's first campaign. You've seen how Donald Trump talked about Barack Obama. You've seen how he talked about Hillary Clinton. How much racism and sexism should Kamala Harris, if she's picked, brace for in this campaign? And how much will her race and gender matter to the American voting public of 2024?
I will never underestimate the American people's ability to see candidates for the people who they are. Because I remember when I started working for Barack Hussein Obama, and everyone said, there's no way you can get that guy elected. And we did. Donald Trump can be vicious with his attacks. The white nationalism that he has surrounded himself with is extraordinarily dangerous for our country and for the world. I am quite confident that he will attack her in different ways. But I would say as long as she has the message, one of inclusivity and a future of America, she will resonate across race, across class, across gender. And that is what she needs to focus on, is relating with American people and explaining how her story is very similar to those other American people.